When you turn on your radio, by the time your ear gets to hear your favourite song in glorious left and right, you're mindlessly enjoying the end result of a huge journey that involves the tiniest of sounds and the hugest of egos. You see, musicians have to first work to capture these painstakingly honed individual sounds. Melodies.
Tide rolls out, tide rolls in, let your love inside
Beats. And only then can they attempt to mix them perfectly together to create the one community of stereo sound that modern humans call a song.
Cool me down, cool me down, cool me down.
Hi there, I am Barnaby Ware from the band The Black Seeds.
Way back in 1998, Barnaby Ware formed The Black Seeds, and though he didn't realise it at the time, he was about to unleash a new Wellington roots sound on the world.
Yeah, is there a thing called the Wellington sound? Well, it's an easy way for journalists to categorise what they don't know what they're talking about and just put it in a bit of a box, but I don't mind it. You know, there's a Wellington sound currently today which is not the Wellington sound of 10 years ago or the Wellington sound of 20 years ago when we had our fur patrols and our she-heads and our head like a holes. That was a Wellington sound. In the late 90s, what was happening was, for me and for our group of friends, was a drive towards and a love of and appreciation of bass heavy music from Jamaica and English dub roots and reggae, and that's what we as the young early Black Seeds wanted to be a band doing that, because there wasn't anyone around really doing that.
But the Black Seeds' success has also seen a love-hate relationship emerge with some of their music critics over a very particular phrase. Barbecue reggae. Barbecue reggae.
You've got to love that, You've got to take it on board and just go, yeah, and work it. And if it's another journalist category to kind of slightly demean or disrespect you, but actually it's an honour to be that soundtrack in your summer or in your winter around your two-stroke burner barbecue or whatever, your fire, and it's part of a Kiwi lifestyle. And so to be part of that and to be a soundtrack to that is actually a real honour.
Released in 2006, Into the Dojo was the Black Seeds' third release and became their biggest selling album. And off that LP, Cool Me Down quickly became their biggest single to date.
I do remember the exact night, summer of 2005, I was at my girlfriend's parents' house and they had this cool piano. How it all began really was that piano in her living room. I was up late and I started playing the bass line. And so the song came together from that bass line on the piano. So Cool Me Down was written, inspired by her, basically a love song. The words, and the rhythm is kind of nursery rhyme and catchy. But it was about her.
But what is it about Cool Me Down that saw it become the classic Kiwi summer anthem? How did they make sounds like these? And this one. And what happens when you've just released one of the biggest singles of summer and your family decide to offer you constructive feedback over the Christmas table? Like, do you really need that much reverb? To get the answers to our questions, we gave Barnaby Ware from the Black Seeds a large pot of tea and got him around a mixing desk to show us the anatomy of Cool Me Down and what it is that makes this song so special. Do you want to start with the piano? Is that the thing that makes sense?
Yeah, I think we start with the piano. The piano bass line. Yes. It's got the one finger thing. I can't play piano, it's just a one finger little riff.
I've got to say, Barnaby, when I hear this bass line, it doesn't by itself speak out of passionate love.
No.
More like a dawdling man.
So can you play the other chops now on top of that, and then it makes a little bit more sense?
That's a lot more frisky.
So there we go. That's kind of what it was all based around to start with. If you put the bass line in, you'll hear that it's copying the piano. Tim Duray on bass.
Shall we actually we'll have a quick look at the bass by itself?
Yeah. So it's very straightforward. It's quite a gained up kind of a sound. It's quite dirty.
That would be an understatement, wouldn't it?
And then if you'd be so kind to put on the drums, Jonny Murphy on the drums, and that gives you the sense of the groove, obviously. And there you go. And then you've got a bit of a head nodding, toe tapping kind of feel.
That's how you do it. So you recorded a demo on that night.
Yeah.
And then you put it into the Black Seeds machine.
Yeah. Mike Fabulous produced Into the Dojo, did an amazing job. And so, he crafted what was to be the more well-known song and version of it.
And so Mike's place in all this is...
Well, he's a great musician and a really good producer. And with the combo of him and Lee Preble in Lee's studio, which at the time was his fairly new studio, those guys working together, to make the album. So you've got the drum machine sound there as well, gives it a old school kind of flavour.
Tell me about this drum machine.
I'm unsure whether it was a Donkomatic, which was an early Korg, old school beast, or a organ drum machine or an early Roland drum machine. So I'm a bit vague on that, being so long ago.
People will be listening at home saying, why are you using these sort of honky, beat-up old sounds?
Yeah, I guess that we're, a retro-style kind of band. We like old-school sounds, and the music that we were trying to be like, or that we're influenced by, was all late 70s stuff. Of course, hearing it by itself, it doesn't quite make sense, but it's all giving it that swing. And then when you put in the drums, it just works.
Tell me a bit about these drum sounds.
Yeah, so you're listening to Jonny Murphy, and he's a great drummer, and so this is what he came up with.
Now, hi-hats.
Hi-hats.
Seem to be an important feature.
Definitely. If you listen to the quality of that hi-hat sound, it's kind of quite gained up, overdriven, punchy. Put to tape, the drums put to tape, definitely, and that's the kind of sounds of the kit that we were loving, and that we heard on Jamaican records, where the hi-hat is quite present.
You have to explain put to tape.
So what you're hearing now is a stereo recording of the drums through Pro Tools, put to reel tape, and gained up slightly, and the tape's doing its natural kind of compression thing, which adds punch and adds a kind of a glue.
The old snare drum, which sounds like it's in a great big hall, banging off the back wall.
Right, yep.
I'm guessing that's on purpose.
Yes, that's an Echo. It's probably Echo Deck or a Space Echo, Roland Space Echo.
So why is Echo such a part of this dancehall reggae thing?
It is, on the vocals and everything. It kind of doubles things up. So it's on the piano too, so it goes da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da, so it kind of repeats and reflects. And all together, it just kind of broadens and makes things, less dry and less awkward. And gives it space and makes it kind of murky in a good way.
I've got this thing here called a dub comp.
Yeah, so that's all the effects that are being sent to mainly drums, maybe this percussion-y stuff.
What's a dubs?
So the dubs is, adding effects like echo, the spring reverb, a delay, phaser, those kind of effects to the sounds and to the repeats of the dubs.
What are dubs trying to do there?
Well, it makes it psychedelic, doesn't it? Makes it trippy. I mean, on a 7-inch, classic Jamaican 7-inch, you would have one side as the single version, which doesn't have the echoes and the dubs. On the other side, you do an instrumental dub, which is more focused on the rhythm and experimenting with repeats and echoes and phases, and less about the single, not for radio so much, but more of an instrumental dub. Yeah. But in this scenario, we only put out one version of the song, so we wanted the dubs in there, and I guess it can be unusual. I remember getting some feedback from some family friends like, oh, there's just too much echo in there, mate. The bass is too high, it's too much echo, it sounds very dirty. It's like, perfect, that's exactly what we wanted.
Don't you hate those encouraging Christmas conversations where they go, Barnaby, what have you been up to? Oh, I'd love to hear your bands. Oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, too much echo. Turn up the vocal. Turn down the bass, too much bass. Yeah. Check this out. Pretty sure that's a farfisa.
What is a farfisa?
Just a really cool old school organ. Not even an organ. It's not an organ, it's a keyboard sound. I don't know if a farfisa is its own thing. So it's providing, I guess, the counterpoint of the chops on the piano. The piano one's doing the opposite, so it's doing the upbeat. Dun, 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 dun.
Can you tell us why this sound?
I can't really. I guess it was just, wow, we like that. It's a bit psychedelic. So there's the riff that the horns now do when we play live.
Should we have a look at the horns? Is that right?
Yeah. Trombone leading and trumpet, no sax. brass is such a great part of a band like the Black Seeds. But we potentially had it all too loud and too brassy, potentially in some of the mixes. And I think with the third album, Into the Dojo, we used less saxophone and we used more trombone.
What's the difference when you dial down the sax and you dial up the trombone?
Well, it's less jazzy, I guess, and it's more tough.
Do you mean it's more working class?
Yes, yeah, that could be a way of putting it. So it's less sassy and more just straight ahead, here's the riff.
The MPC here.
So Daniel playing percussion and MPC, these cute little bubbles. I guess this is the psychedelic sci-fi part, you know? It just adds droplets of trippiness, I guess.
Let it bloom into something beautiful.
And should we have a look at the guitars?
Yeah, I think they're pretty pack and save guitars, I think. Oh yeah, these guys are echoed out as well.
Oh yeah. Does that make you feel good or does that make you feel sick nowadays?
I think once again, in the context it works. It's not a guitar-heavy track. It does make you feel good. You know, it's pretty rough and raw, and it's just rhythm guitar.
Is it more about the sound or is it more about the feel when you're recording something like this?
It's feel for me. I mean, I'm just a rhythm guitarist. I think Mike's playing along with me there, rhythm as well. But you know, it doesn't need to be flash. It's not a solo. It is about the rhythm. Keep it chugging along, you know.
From the hillside to the sea, let your love wash over me.
Your vocals are so hot, and by hot we mean distorted.
Dirty.
Over river, mountains high, watch it drifting through the sky.
Yep.
I can understand why your auntie and uncles would say, "What's wrong with the vocals, Barnaby?"
Yeah, where did you mix this? At the dump?
Come on, just cool me down, cool me down, cool me down.
So this is exactly what you're going for, though. The sound like your microphone's on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a soul, you know, a ribbon mic sound of being distorted. Yeah, I guess we like that. It means it's punchy. It kind of cuts through any radio or car stereo.
Have you always sounded the way you have when you sing? Because you definitely have some New Zealand in you. Is that kind of intentional, or is that just what came out when you opened your mouth?
It was fairly intentional, yes, because I used to not enjoy singers that put on a big American thing when they're not from the States, or, you know, they're from Korori. Let's hear what that sounds like. You know, New Zealanders and New Zealand artists, we've got a lot to celebrate, and being ourselves is part of that. And if you're going to be an artist and share your stories, then they need to be in that accent. Yeah, I think just trying to be yourself is always important.
So, after spending all this time creating and capturing these individual bits, what do the Black Seeds think they've achieved when all these parts work together?
It's a feel-good love song. It sounds like it's from New Zealand. It was third album, Into the Dojo, was thanks to Lee and Mike's work and the band's work that, you know, we actually had our own character and personality as a band by then, and that's why it was kind of a strong release for us. And so it was part of that, and it was just one of the more catchier numbers on that album, and less serious and fun. You know, people still like that feel-good stuff, and so it worked well for us, yeah.
When someone first puts on Cool Me Down, what do you hope they'll feel? First time they hear it.
Well, you're meant to feel love in that song, you know, you're meant to feel some sense of love.
And a big thanks to Barnaby from the Black Seeds. Anatomy of a Song is a radio adventure crafted by RDU, funded by New Zealand On Air, and produced by Rachel Morton, Jonny Pipe, and me, Spanky Moore. Thank you for listening.